Well, that's a good segue into what I want to talk about now. Let's get this immigration shit out of the way, and let's talk about, I mean, what's really going on with immigration? So I was looking up a few things, and one of the top things about immigration in this country and to the Republicans and why everybody should be concerned and scared is because the rampant crime of the immigrants who cross this border and are raping, killing, whatever it is that they're doing to our citizens. Now, first, it should be noted that under Joe Biden, crime overall significantly has gone down, especially in big cities. So is that Joe Biden because he walked in and he's, who knows? I don't know. But the fact is that crime has gone down since the pandemic, which was rampant during the pandemic. It has gone down since significantly. But the idea is that a lot of the crime being committed in this country is because of illegal immigration. Well, first of all, there's little evidence or data that immigrants, legal or undocumented, cause more crime than people who were born here. There are approximately, they say 11.2 million people who are undocumented. This was in mid 2021. Now, obviously, there's probably more since then, but it doesn't really even out. But there are some that either have died, that have left the country, or became citizens. So let's just say there's 13 million, whatever. There's approximately 3.5 to 4.5% of the population is illegal. Mm-hmm. There, again, strong evidence that all immigrants, documented or undocumented, are more law-abiding citizens than native-born Americans motivated to do well and low incentive to break the law. There is a couple studies here. Graham Ossie, a criminologist at William and Mary, and Charis Kerbin, the criminologist at the University of California at Irvine, surveyed more than 2 decades of research on immigration and crime. The results vary depending on survey design and scope, but generally they found that longstanding concerns about immigration as a major source of crime are unfounded. In fact, communities with more immigration tend to have less crime, especially violent crimes like homicide. They also found that immigrants are less involved in crime as both offenders and victims compared with the native born, including the children of immigrants. Similarly, the January update of a 2023 survey using a census data led by Ryan Ambaritsky, a Stanford University economist, found that male immigrants over the last 150 years have a lower incarceration rates than people who were born in the United States, and that incarceration rates of immigrants have dropped since 1960. Immigrant men today are 60% less like to be incarcerated, a decline that occurred among immigrants from all regions. This is evidence become, wait 1 second. Federal prisons records. Wait, no, sorry. No, Orsi and Kerbin from the study earlier in the book say that while there have been only a few studies focused on crimes committed by undocumented immigrants, the findings are consistent with the idea that immigrants do not commit more crimes than non-immigrants. Results from this small but growing literature are beginning to converge on the conclusion that fears about undocumented immigrants driving crime rates are up, essentially unfounded. Lana, anything you want to add to that?
I mean, we didn't even need the study for that because we know Republicans are out here lying. It's not true.
Well, I also want to bring up, there's a gentleman, Norwachis, I can't pronounce his last name, starting in 2018. Now this is in regards to Texas, where apparently is the biggest issue. Wrote a series of reports that showed the conviction rates for serious crimes in Texas were much lower for undocumented immigrants than native-born Americans. It published a new report that relied on fresh data on homicide convictions. It confirmed that undocumented immigrants had a lower homicide conviction rate than native-born Americans. Legal immigrants had the lowest homicide conviction rate. So again, I this idea that we need to make this our number one issue when it comes to voting
Right.
is ridiculous, because the issue is, first of all, I think you and I would agree that there's a problem with the border, but the problem isn't because people are coming in and they're murdering people and they're
Right.
just handing out drugs all over the place. The
Right.
problem is that it's not well handled. I mean, there's a better way to
Not
handle.
maintained. It's like there's no order to it. And that takes us back to the bill, right? How in the bill they want to have more border agents, they want more judges, they want to strengthen the rules surrounding asylum so it's not so easy to get asylum. They want to stop catch and release. Like there are all these things that will help to strengthen the border. So if you cared about Lakem Riley or the next Lakem Riley, or if you're actually saying, oh, it's all the immigrants, we know it's not true because Brian read all of the data. But if you thought it to be true, why wouldn't you do the minimal? If you thought this bill is like, it's not really going to do anything, why not do the minimal instead of doing not the zero? Why
Right.
do zero? If you could do any little thing, why not do
Right. Why can't, if it's a bad bill, like you said, you could do at least some of it. And if Trump becomes president, then you can have him do whatever it is you think he can do to
Right.
stop something that's not happening anyway, other than
where there are amendments. They didn't even look at it to say, hey, let's change this, change it. They won't even do that.
Yeah.
How does that, where's the governing? This is no governing. And back to what you said, these people that follow Republicans, the voters, they don't care about governing. They don't understand governing. They just want to argue, fight, win, libtard this, libtard that.
Yep.
I'm on the winning side because I'm a loser in life. Like that's just like how that is.
That's literally what it comes down to, is that, and it's harsh language, but, and, they're losers for whatever reason they became losers, but they don't understand. I mean, it's just the fact that we're talking and we're getting into these conversations with people who have absolutely, just no basis for what they're saying, other than they're being told by right-wing propaganda media all the time that this is the biggest problem. This is what you need to focus on. Again, I have somebody at work who thinks that immigrants are coming in here and they're paying no taxes. But she also told me that there's no way that the Republicans are taking away our Social Security, when they literally fucking say it out loud that they will.
They think it's what do they call it? It's like something that doesn't have to be given to you. Like I forgot like what the word is that Republicans keep calling it. It's just like
entitlements.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it is. It's the entitlements. And, they dress up the language a little bit, but you know what? Some of them actually do say Social Security, because a lot of people don't understand that Social Security, Medicare is an entitlement. They don't understand that. So they hear the word and they just, associate it with freeloaders. It's just, it makes no sense. Meanwhile, the people who really aren't paying their taxes are the multi-billionaires. Those are the people not paying their taxes.
And they're okay with that. They're okay with these people getting tax cuts. And to go back to the border not being the biggest problem, it fucking is not the biggest problem. Like, how do you people go from, oh my God, you're way somewhere, not even near a border state, and you're like, oh my God, the immigrants, the illegals, the border. Right here in America, you have Uvalde happening. You have babies being murdered in classrooms by assault rifles in Tennessee, and you can't even go to a grocery store. In upstate New York, you have people being slaughtered, and the border is the problem, and not the assault rifles.
Lana, there are people in Iowa right now with $100,000 in medical bills that are saying the border is the number one issue.